Hello, everyone. This is Dr. Vyshnavi, your ENT educator from PrepLadder. And with me, I have Dr. Swati, who's got an amazing rank of 34 in the INI-CET examination that happened recently. I am so proud of this girl that this girl transitioned from a 5-digit rank from in NEET UG to a 2-digit 34 rank in the INI-CET, which is one of the most difficult examinations of our country today. And she has prepared in a remote area of Solapur and a place where there is no offline classes, no great institutions, but she used the online resource of PrepLadder and was able to crack the examination with this amazing rank. I will just leave the stage to Dr. Swati to, just tell how she's feeling at this moment, because I could feel that emotion when I was just talking to her 5 minutes ago. So Swati, this is all yours. Welcome to this session, and please tell how you're feeling. Tell me a little bit about your journey. We'll come to academics part of it. But meanwhile, I want to know, because you were telling that from 5-digit rank to 2-digit rank now, it means so much, ma'am. So I want you to express that very clearly in your words to the viewers who are viewing us now.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Ma'am, it is an opportunity for me to express this. Ma'am, it is very hard, but it is very much achievable. From 5-digit rank to a 2-digit rank, ma'am, it is a surreal moment for me today. I am Dr. Swati Iyer from Solapur, Ashwini Rural Medical College, and my rank is 34. And this is very much possible because of PrepLadder. I have worked hard for it. The platform itself has helped us all, and it feels very great to be here today.
I can feel the emotion in your voice, Swati, and I can feel how much of content and that, feeling that you've been able to do something that you thought some time ago was very, very difficult for you. And to be there, which maybe you had worked hard a lot, maybe you knew in your head you can reach that. But until you reach there, you never know that it's going to happen or not. And today you have done that. So I'm so proud of you, girl. You are truly amazing. From Ashwini Rural Medical College to INI-CET to AIMS is a big steep in your journey, and truly from my heart I feel so proud about you. So first of all, I want to know, like how you prepared, because that's something everyone of us want to know from you, because sitting in a rural college without having any facilities, without having any coaching institutions, with only online resources, I think that's where majority of our crowd are today, and your advice would definitely boost up them to prepare well for their upcoming next examinations whenever they happen. So please tell us when you started your preparation.
Ma'am, I had started in my second year itself. And in second year, I used the textbook as well as the platform. It both goes side by side.
You use the entire
Yeah,
video?
yeah,
Okay.
ma'am. Entire videos
Uh-huh.
plus the MCQs. Ma'am, unless you solve the MCQs, you won't understand that you have understood the concept. You have really worked on it. The MCQs are the most game changer in this whole preparation, ma'am. Throughout the
You
years,
do
I have.
would you do like the entire subject followed by MCQ, or you would say, for example, now you're watching patho lectures and you're watching one topic followed by solving the MCQs on that topic, or how would you do?
Ma'am, I'll complete a system and then solve the MCQ. So
Mm-hmm.
that way it gives a link between the whole system itself.
Mm-hmm.
So even in my second year, I used to solve medicine MCQ because patho and medicine goes side by side. And that
Yeah.
gave me a boost that if I'm able to even solve 70% correct now with medicine MCQs, it is definitely going to help me. And ma'am, these pseudo boosts of getting that prediction that you're better than 70%, better than 90% of the people, it gives another feeling, ma'am, that acha kiya hai, sab kuch kiya hai, you can go ahead with it. It helps a lot, ma'am.
So this feature on the app, whenever you solve questions,
Yeah,
tells you like how many people you are ahead of you or you are ahead of. I think that sort of gives you everyday realistic, or maybe
yeah,
like you said, pseudo picture, but feels good to your brain,
yeah,
and that sort of boosts your preparation. So would you watch the entire like videos together, like the what
yeah.
we have on the app, or did you use only specific modules in the video?
No, ma'am. For the first and second year, I used to watch complete video because those were the basic and fundamentals are the most important thing, ma'am. And INI-CET itself, they gave a weightage a lot to the first and second year subjects. And I had an idea ki I had to work on my INI-CET game itself because it is a much tougher exam than NEET.
Yeah.
And if I'll make it, it will be the biggest success until now. So I used complete videos for my first year and second year. By third year, I used to watch only those things which I was bad at. After solving MCQ, I used to use a retrospective approach. I'll solve the MCQ. If I'm not able to understand those concepts, I used to go back and watch the videos.
So if I have to just briefly tell out what you said, so in first and second year, you used PrepLadder's complete video resources, the main video sources, and then solved the questions. And whatever you were not good at, you revisited them and read them. But in your
Yeah.
third year, you just did your textbook, did the MCQs, and wherever you faltered, you went back to the main videos to clarify your concepts.
Yeah.
Is that?
Yeah.
That's nice. And what about your final year?
From final year, I had almost watched few videos in my lockdown itself. Lockdown was the key, ma'am. We could complete a much chunk of a portion with lockdown itself. So I had watched most of the videos in lockdown. The major subjects, medicine, surgery, and obs-gynae. But it sometimes it felt like I didn't even know what those concepts were. So I just kept building upon it. I used to read it. If I didn't understand, I used to keep it ki theek hai, final year mein kar lenge. But I completed most of the chunk in the lockdown itself, ma'am.
So which means you were in second year. At that time itself, you completed all the final year subjects as well.
Yeah, ma'am, the major 3 subjects.
That's amazing. So I think somewhere you pushed yourself a little forward each time so that, you know, when you reached that particular year, you were actually knowing so much of information that whenever you would read in that year, you would get even more better with the subject.
Yeah,
And
ma'am.
yeah, so you used all the main videos. Did you use even the rapid revision videos during your phase of preparation? I'm not asking before the examination.
Ma'am, I had watched for patho and micro.
Okay.
Because Preeti ma'am had concised it with mnemonics as well. So I had used rapid revision ma'am's video.
Okay. And did you use RR videos just before your exams to revise the
Yeah.
entire content?
Ma'am, last minute before the exam is the key. If you're calm, consistent, and you're thorough with your stuff, the exam is very much the same as those questions. So, ma'am, I had watched the rapid revision as well as the LRR. The LRR, ma'am, those questions were much more trickier than the real exam. I still remember ophthalm attending those sessions. Ma'am had clarified it so well. And ma'am, ophthalm was my weakest subject. It always gives me some other level of ear care ophthalmologia. But ma'am had concised it very well. And I'm very glad and I'm very thankful for the whole team for conducting those LRR sessions.
Okay. And about your question bank, did you solve them? You told that you did solve them during your regular practice. How many hours would you dedicate for the question bank?
Ma'am, almost 20% of the time I used to devote for my MCQs. And the key feature is to read those summaries and explanation below the MCQ. Ma'am, because they add extra points to every question there. Some facts are not even in the notes, not even in the textbook, ma'am, but they are very well in crisp manner explained in the question bank. So, ma'am, question
So
bank
you
is
mean not just the right answer, but even the wrong options helped you learn so many things from the question bank part of it. Because sometimes we read and we don't realize that this particular point is important when we're going through the theoretical content. But when you see that as an option in the question, then your mind thinks that have I even read this? So the solutions actually help a lot, even the wrong answers solutions. What is your favorite feature about the Q bank?
Ma'am, those explanations.
Oh, okay. Would you make custom modules and practice them?
Yeah, ma'am. I used to make custom module. Before the exam, I used a lot of PYQ and custom module. And it helps a lot. Ma'am, being calm throughout the last month is the key feature. However prepared you are, if you're not calm throughout this last 30 days, it is going to create a havoc on the day of exam. So those Q banks and ma'am, those 99% you have done better than 99% always kept me in
Pushing you forward.
calm position. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think on an everyday basis, we need that boost because just that, we are preparing, but there has to be some reward at the end of it.
Yeah,
And that reward that you get, that you're 90%, 99% better, makes you feel that tomorrow I have to be on this strike or I have to
yeah,
get it better than my strike yesterday. I think that's
yeah.
a wonderful thing that you told us. What about
Ma'am,
your,
there's
yeah,
one
please.
more thing. Ma'am,
Yeah.
PrepLadder used to conduct those quiz, everyday 5-question quiz.
Mm-hmm.
Ma'am, I'll still say that during my second year, I used to solve them. And those 5 questions getting in that top 5 rank, ma'am, it gave me another level of satisfaction. Every time I used to solve them,
Mm-hmm.
being in the top 5, it was like, yaar, kar diya. Abhi, yahi continue karna. You just have to keep on going, solve these things. And ma'am, there's no other source here to compete yourself with others. But
Yeah.
that platform gave us those 5 questions. Even if those 5 questions, they change a lot, ma'am. The
Yeah, and
dynamics
considering
change.
more students across India use PrepLadder, that would also make you feel that yes, I'm competing against more
Yeah,
students from India, not just from my town. So I
yeah,
stand definitely at a better level. I mean, at the all India level is something that you would feel on an everyday basis.
yeah.
Yeah, wonderful. And what about your notes? Like, did you get the PrepLadder's printed notes, or you bought your own notes? I mean, did your own notes, or you annotated the printed notes? How did you go about it?
Ma'am, I used to write
Mm-hmm.
my own notes because, ma'am, those underlined things, those highlighted things, they are going to be the key feature. You remember exactly the color of the marker you had used for the exam.
Yeah.
And ma'am, they change a lot, ma'am. And ma'am, during lockdown, we didn't have a lot of exposure to printed notes, or so handwritten notes were the only solution, and they played a lot game changer moment to me, ma'am.
And how often would you revise? Like you finished it in second year, all the subjects. Would you revise intermittently all the subjects, or would you just go year on year and then keep revising the content? How did you do that?
Ma'am, I believe that if you give a gap of 30 days between one subject, it is volatile.
Correct.
So I used to at least work on those things which I had forgotten. I
Mm-hmm.
used to read it within 15 days. Even in my minor, I used to read anatomy. It helped me with ENT, it helped me with anatomy. So every time I kept reading those first and second year subjects, it just gave me an upper hand that I'm strong with my basics and I'm working on my clinical subjects as well.
Okay, so the best thing that you did was you started in your second year where your foundation was strong and you completed final year so that you could integrate here. And going forward from there on, you went back and forth between clinical and your basics, keep making you better each day using
Yeah,
the main videos, rapid revision, QBank, all of that sort of emulsified things and got to them together in put you in one place. That's
yeah,
wonderful. And did you appear for GTs also because you started preparing early? So how about the
yes.
GTs?
I have almost given around 22 grant tests from PrepLadder.
Wow.
And ma'am, they are a game changer. You constantly solve, you analyze yourself, and the number of wrongs will always motivate you, ma'am. It
Hmm.
is you always aim to get the number of wrong question lesser each time. And
Right.
ma'am, it stimulates a lot with the normal exam
Hmm.
because you're going to make those silly mistake even in the real exam as well as the grant test. It just helps you keep getting better each time. So
Yeah.
I used to solve those grant tests and analyze on my weaker subjects.
Okay, that's very nice. And did you do the analysis on the same day, or would you give some gap and then do the analysis?
Ma'am, I used to do it on the same day because 7 days ka gap is equal to you have forgotten why you had marked these questions. So I
Correct.
used to do it on the same day itself,
Mm-hmm.
clear rank, and then go on checking your wrong questions.
Mm-hmm.
And then as per time, I used to even check my correct answers to get if there's anything extra I'll find from those explanations.
So if learners have to get a realistic idea, how much time should one spend on a GT and the analysis together? How much time would it take for them to do that?
Ma'am, ideally, one day, the whole day of grant test, as well as I used to solve on the same day of the result, ma'am. So it would help me even check my correct answers on the same day. So one whole day I would used to dedicate for the grant test itself. And as it was getting closer, I used to solve grant test and complete the review within 4 hours, so that I could dedicate the rest of the hours for a small subject.
Wow. While you were doing such an intensive preparation, how did your parents feel about you? Like, were they after you? How much are you doing, studying? How was it?
They had to make a lot of sacrifices for my dreams.
Yeah.
They had to skip on every occasion. I used to say, "Abhi padna hai. I have an exam coming. I have a grand test coming." So they had make to cut off a lot of things. So
Mm.
relatives के साथ बाहर जाना कम हो गया.
Mm.
They made a lot of sacrifices, but they are very happy today.
Yeah, I'm sure they must be super proud of you. What was their reaction when they heard about your rank?
I couldn't even express. I started crying. Ki,
I could hear that. I mean, I could feel that in your voice that, the next moment you're going to just have tears rolling down. But I'm sure these are tears of joy and happiness.
yes,
And
ma'am.
we all are very proud of you for what you've done and achieved.
Thank
And
you very much.
yeah, so if I have to ask you about the exam day, like what did you do just a few days, like 15 days before the exam? What did you do 1 week before the exam? What did you do 1 day before the exam? Can you just give a brief idea of these things?
Yeah, ma'am, I stick to my notes. And I used the LRR feature every single time. And I used to even review those LRR notes, ma'am. Uh, it helped me a lot because it was more concise than my notes. So revising those notes were much more easier than reading the whole set of notes. So I used to watch those LRR sessions, read those LRR notes, and solve Q banks, ma'am. And last week before exam, I just read the volatile stuff and it helped me a lot, ma'am.
So I think you had bookmarked somewhere that these are the things that I will forget. So that has to be individualistic and not something that everyone can do. You have to understand what you are forgetting, what is your weak zone, mark that out, keep that for the last 1 week for revising, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
ma'am, and the Q bank where you get to even bookmark your questions, it
Hmm.
helps a lot, ma'am, because at the end of the day, you just have to revise those bookmarked questions.
Yeah.
So you cut down it to a very small number by the end of the exam.
Yeah.
So it is very much easier to revise as well as complete it, ma'am.
Yeah. And did you bookmark some videos also, which you found like we have that option to bookmark
Yeah,
videos? So
yeah,
whichever you wanted to revise it at the dates before your exam, did you do that?
yeah. Ma'am, there was few anatomy videos which were volatile and which I used to forget every single time. I used to go back to those videos again.
Okay. And on the day of your exam, how did you keep yourself calm? Because it's easy to say than done. We can tell you that stay calm, stay, hydrated, stay, go very peaceful with a peaceful heart to the exam. That can all be said, but it's very difficult to be done. So what did you do? How did you maintain your calm? And you've been telling that staying calm is the key feature, ma'am. Staying calm is the key feature. So I want to know what is the reason behind you staying calm and how do you do that?
Ma'am, I had one thing to do. I had to prove my parents. I had to make them happy. So if I make a blunder, I'm already out of the game. So that was the only option left for me. I had to make my parents proud this time. I had to make my friends proud this time. They kept on motivating me throughout my college years. So there was no scope of getting this wrong. So I kept chanting for the whole period. The timer shows that you have 45 minutes left before exam. I kept chanting for the whole 45 minutes कि भगवान ये हो जाए. But I worked hard for it. Make
Yeah.
this happen. I just kept praying, ma'am.
That's very, very nice. I think somewhere you should, just tell yourself, assure yourself things will be all right. And there's somebody above who's going to take care of things to
Yes.
happen. Yeah. And how did you feel the exam? Because considering they had made it into sections, right? So was it a difficult thing or was it a easy thing?
Ma'am, it is very difficult because my first question itself was the question which I'd never, ever seen in my life. So, ma'am, it was ANAT and it was a question which I'd never faced. But then as the questions kept on going, I gave myself the boost ki I've done this wrong. Even if I've done this wrong, the next 10 questions I'm getting it correct. So I kept going ahead. And ma'am, at the end of the day, it is those 200 questions. Even if I get one wrong, the first
Doesn't
question
matter.
wrong itself, it is not going to make any difference. I just have to go ahead and it is going to get better. And when it happens, that first set somehow you end up doing some mistakes which were not supposed to be. But then, ma'am, my second set was patho and micro wala set. So it gave me a boost. Ki this was the whole second year I spent the whole most of the time I've spent doing this. I cannot get anything wrong out of this. And ma'am, that happened. My second set, I have got no questions wrong.
Wow.
And then ma'am, the third set, uh, ENT and ophthalm, I had made few mistakes in it. But ma'am, if I had to look at back, it was those 200 questions and getting 160 plus correct was always the plan for me. Ma'am, it has worked out, and you just have to go every next question, ma'am. You cannot predict anything how the next set is going to be, but it will keep getting better.
Yeah, so just being disappointed by the first question will not help. Even if you've done it right, done it wrong, just that's your mind should stick to that question only for that 1 minute and then move ahead and take the question as a new question whenever you're doing your exam. I think that you've done brilliantly. I just want to know, because many of the learners online who are there at the moment have a question for you, where they're asking you what was your score out of 200? Like, how much do you think? Because of course we don't know the score. So what do you think was your score? Like, how many right questions would you have marked?
Ma'am, as per the recall, I have got around 34, 35 questions wrong.
Okay.
And
Which
ma'am,
means 165 plus is your right.
ma'am, I had skipped 4 questions.
Okay.
So I'm guessing around 160, 162 would have been correct.
Okay, that's a nice number. That's a very good score, actually. Yeah. So did you think the recall questions which we did on YouTube were more realistic and they were similar to the final, I mean, the questions which you faced in your exams?
Yeah, ma'am. Those were almost similar to the exam. Ma'am, it is always the recall. We give you all the recall. And ma'am, we will skip upon the most important option because during the excitement, we skip those wrong options. And
Correct.
we are so sure that yahi iska answer hai, we'll mark it and go ahead. So we give you
Yeah.
all the wrong recall as well, ma'am, sometimes. But ma'am, they were very much accurate.
Okay. So before we conclude the session, I just want to ask you, like, who are your favorite educators? Whom do you want to give a shout out from the educators? Like, whoever have helped you through this entire phase of preparation?
Ma'am, Preeti ma'am has been a very positive boost, ma'am. Ma'am, ever back since ma'am has made those mnemonics, I still remember CMB wala mnemonic. Ma'am used to draw those here for periventricular. Ma'am used to draw those brackets. Ma'am, I'll never forget it.
Yeah, she simplified the subject for most people, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah, wonderful. And do you want to give any shout out to your family, to your friends, anybody? Because the stage is yours. Please take it and you can tell whatever you like to.
Yeah, ma'am, my family, they have supported me throughout this journey. Even if I failed, they have never blamed me. My UG scores were never good, but they kept motivating me, and it is only possible because my family and friends, they have motivated me. Ma'am, coming from a private college, you have very less resources upon any, you don't get to choose upon anything. So my parents never made me feel bad about it. They kept me motivating it throughout this journey, and I cannot express my heartful regards to them because it is a long journey, ma'am. If I'll even express it today, it will be I don't have any words upon this, ma'am.
Right. I think it's an emotion that we connect to more than the words, and I can really feel that emotion in your eyes and in your facial expressions. So wonderful. Your parents have been your constant support, and you have proved them right today. You've made them absolutely proud, and we also at PrepLadder are very, very proud of you. Wishing you good luck, and I'm sure you're preparing for your NEET PG as well.
Yes, ma'am. I'll be
Yeah.
preparing for.
Yeah, so we will be hopefully meeting you again for a toppers interview session whenever your NEET PG results are out.
Thank you
Okay.
very much,
Thank
ma'am.
you so much, Swati, for your time, and thank you for giving us this interview. Wishing you the best of luck and best in your life.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
Yeah, take care. Bye bye.